Shana Tova. Oh, thank you. When I was in rabbinical school, only a few short years ago, I had a pulpit internship for 2 years, but I also had a hospital chaplaincy internship, which meant I did 400 hours. 300 of those were clinical hours, which means I was with patients, clinical, and 100 were classroom hours. Classroom hours when you are a chaplain intern mean you all sit around a table in some poor, neglected room in the hospital that no one's paid attention to in years. It's stacked full of boxes and all sorts of junk, with all these other little baby chaplain interns. And you dissect the things that you went through that day. We were a motley crew, by the way. Just imagine a couple rabbinical students, okay, so some Jews, we had some seminarians, we had a Methodist minister, we had a Buddhist nun. She was a lot of fun, actually. And we were all overseen by our supervisor, Pam. Pam was fantastic. She is exactly the person you want by your bedside if you're ever in the hospital. She had a very calm presence. She had a soft yet strong demeanor. And when she said something, you believed her, and she meant it. We had these case studies, right? So you'd pick it apart. What you went through with his patient, what you did, what they did, what you said, what they said. And we'd compliment you, and then we would give you some critique. A couple weeks in, someone was doing a case study, another intern, not myself, and everyone was going around and they're talking about it, complimenting and critiquing. And the guy whose case study it was called me out. He said, "Sarah, you never have very much to say." To which I didn't have much of a reply. But to be fair, what do you say to that? I was like, because it's true, actually. I very rarely talked during case studies. And Pam, our supervisor, asked me, she said, "Why do you not feel a need to contribute?" I don't know. I don't like taking up more room in the room. I don't know. Other people want to talk, so I'll let them talk. I don't know. And she said, "Okay, but consider. Consider the message that you're sending by not having anything to say. Think about what you're taking away from your colleagues by not speaking up, by not offering anything to them." And I hadn't thought about it like that. And when I did, I realized I was honestly very intimidated at the idea of speaking up because I had this voice in my head. And I think we all have this voice because it said to me, "Who are you to think you have what to say? Who are you to bring your thoughts, your ideas, your words out of yourself and into the world? Who do you think you are?" And I don't think you can really blame me for thinking like that because we start teaching at a very young age and we keep going a certain lesson and it comes up in TVs and it comes up in movies. I'm sure you've all heard it before. It doesn't matter what other people think. I've seen so many movies where that was the plot and episodes of TV shows. Some older, wiser person says to a younger person, so they learn. It doesn't matter what other people think. Don't listen. Don't worry what other people might say or think. Doesn't matter. I grew up hearing that all the time. It was everywhere, and it always bothered me, even though clearly I took it to heart. It bothered me, I think, because I never really thought that was true, that it doesn't matter. And I don't think Judaism thinks it's true either. Don't get me wrong. I think when people say this, the vast majority of the time, people say it doesn't matter what other people think. I think it comes from a good place. I think it comes from a place of wanting to help, of wanting to teach kids and to reassure ourselves that we shouldn't be afraid to say or think or do or be who we are just because we are worried about other people, what they might say, they might make fun of us. We want to know that it's okay to be different. And I think that's true. That's good to be different. I think Judaism definitely thinks it's okay to be different. We love being different. Tomorrow is a Monday. Y'all should be at work. I'll be here, so I'll be at work, but you should be at work. But you're not going to be at work because you're going to be here. You're going to be praying. And that's different, and that's weird, and it's awesome. We love it. No, my fear, though, when we teach, it doesn't matter what other people think. When we say that it doesn't matter what other people think, is that we're saying, don't worry how others perceive you, your actions, your words, your life. Don't worry about how others perceive who you are or how you walk in this world. Because that means that we've just wholesale written off how our lives can affect other people. And that's sad. That's sad to me, because it means that each of us are just like little orbs floating around in space, and we don't touch each other, and we don't think about each other, we don't think about the world, because we're not worried, we're not thinking about how other people think about us. When we decide that it doesn't matter what other people think, we are shortchanging ourselves. That's what I say. We are not recognizing something that is key to who we are, that is fundamental to our very nature, and that is a gift. We were never meant to be uncaring about how we appear to the outside world. And I don't mean physically, I don't mean the clothes you wear, the car you drive, the phone you have, none of that stuff. I mean that as Jews, and I think as people too, it is of the utmost importance to care about how people think about us, because that's how we were created. We're going to read really soon because we're flipping that Torah over. We're starting again with creation. And we read, Vayivra Elohim et ha'adam betzalmo. And God created humanity in the divine image. Humanity, that means you. That means me. That means everyone. We were all created in the divine image. We are, each one of us, a mirror through which divine light shines. We are, each one of us, a vessel for all of the most holy hopes and dreams. And each one of us carries within us, deep inside, the divine capacity for good and mercy and justice and kindness. You bet it matters what other people think about you, because that is how you're going to change the world. But first, you got to embrace it. You got to embrace that powerful, overwhelming gift of being B'Tselem Elohim, of being in the image of God. Because if you embrace it, then you can wield it. And if you can wield it, you can go forth in the world knowing that your actions matter. Your words matter. Your life matters. There's a Hasidic story, it's a mystical story about the angels, of course. And they heard that God was creating people in the divine image. And they were incensed by the gamble that God was taking. They were so fearful of giving humanity a spark of divinity. So they stole the divine image. They stole it. And they debated, of course, where to hide it. And one said, on the top of the highest mountain, humanity will never figure out how to get up there. They said, no, terrible idea, terrible idea. Just like Jews, the angels cannot agree with each other. They'll figure out how to get up there eventually. Okay, well, let's hide it in the depths of the sea. No, they'll figure out how to get down there one day, okay. I know, one said, we'll hide it at the furthest reaches of the wilderness. No, that was Acts 2. They'll figure out how to get there one day. The cleverest angel thought of the perfect solution. And so they hid the divine image in the human heart, a place they thought no one would ever think to look, the depths of the human soul. Now, the story, of course, was written by people, so I think it speaks to the fear that we have of embracing our Tselem Elohim, of recognizing the divinity that we carry within us that ennobles us, of recognizing the potential that we have to take on the most noble qualities to affect and change others, our communities, the world, or ourselves. And it is a scary thing, I'll grant you that. It means recognizing that you're not just a person. You're not just a person. You serve a higher purpose. You have the capability of bringing awesome good to this world. And as with all great, powerful things, it carries a powerful fear. A fear of how powerful you might actually be. And I don't care if you're a rabbi or a plumber or a dentist or a kid or an elder or anything in between. Everyone has had a time that they are scared. Scared to speak up, scared to share their thoughts, scared to make a decision to act. Not scared that you can't do anything, that you don't matter. Scared that you actually matter so much, that your words, your actions are extremely important. The fear that you may actually be able to change a life. Because I'll let you in on a secret. You can. And it's okay. Again, it's okay to be afraid of this power you have inside of you. Because it's a big power. So that's a normal fear. It's scary. Whether we're talking big picture, the world, problems you see when you turn on the news, it's scary. You think to yourself, who am I to act against the grain? Who am I to say anything that will matter? That's a fair fear. It's scary when we're talking in our own daily interactions, when you see unkindness where you work, where you go to school, injustice in our community. And you think, who am I to act against the grain? Who am I to stand up? What can I say that could possibly matter? Who would care what I have to say? And it's scary when the person we need to talk to is ourselves, when we're being unduly hard on ourselves, when we're beating ourselves up. We need to step in and say, hey, I need to leave me alone. Because you think to yourself, nothing I say is going to change how I relate to myself anyway, so why try? But I'm telling you now, when that voice inside your head says, who are you to say what you think is right, what others do, what others say and think isn't affected by you. No one else cares what you think. Your answer, our answer, needs to be what God's answer was. When Moshe asked, what's your name? God said, Ehyeh asher ehyeh. I am who I am. I will be who I will be. And who cares what I think? Everyone and anyone could care what I think, what I say, what I do. That's my divine power. That's my holy privilege. It does matter what other people think. How else will I bring my divine light to the world? All those years ago, in my chaplaincy internship, Pam, and she changed, I think, the direction of my life. She said, by not speaking up, you are denying others your voice, your experience, your value. By not speaking up, you are saying something. You're saying, I don't care enough about you to help. I don't care enough about you to give you access to my inner divine. So I say to you, as we stand on the threshold, on the cusp of the old year and the new year, these two worlds, this world desperately needs your voice. We need you. I need you. And we deserve to hear from you. Don't deny us that opportunity, the opportunity to learn from you, to learn from your words, to learn from your example. Think of the lives that you could change. Think of the darkness that could be illuminated when you take the courage and you release your divine light into the world. Shana Tova u'Metuka. May you have a joyous and oh so sweet and very bright new year.